Hello, everybody. Hello, folks. Welcome here. And we are preparing for the second Shiatsu picnic, Eastern and Southern European Shiatsu picnic, that will take place near Lake Balaton in a village called Uja. Very nice setup, nice surroundings. From the 11th to the 14th of August this year. So if you haven't done so, please pencil this in your calendar and see you all there. And I have one of the facilitators that will hold a workshop at the picnic, Antigoni from Greece. Hello, Antigoni. Very nice to have you here now.
Hello. Hello,
And
Victor.
yes, and so that the potential participants, can get to know you a little bit better, because maybe not everybody knows you that well. Could you please share some information about yourself, who you are, how long you've been doing Shiatsu, whatever you want to share?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I really enjoy to participate. I wanted last year also to come, but I couldn't. I was not able. So this year I feel really very enthusiastic to come and have fun, because I have heard that you had a great time all together.
Yes, it was nice.
And the more I come to Shiatsu knowledge, the more I like to share with the people. But for me, Shiatsu societies is like a kind of family, a spiritual family. So starting from, I did my first, I was living on an island in north of Greece. Those years, I was Shaolin Kung Fu practitioner and teacher.
Okay.
And had my dojo with my companion there. And one woman from Switzerland, who became later friend of mine, I had heard that she was doing something that some people from the village, they were able then to walk or to be better. For example, a hammersmith was always every winter with sciatica in bed for 1 week. And this woman, Christina, was doing something like massage, but the people were getting better. Anyway, then I asked, I saw her, and finally I received 6 sessions from her, because I was heartbroken that time. And as I was a Shaolin monk, and I couldn't be sensitive so much, I had to be reflected this Zen way. On the third session, I remember, she touched me in Ren 17, and a river of crying came out.
Wow.
Without having anything. And I was not scared, but at that moment, I felt so connected with my soul. And then I said to myself, okay, one day I'm going to learn about it. So that was in 1994, and 1996 I did my first course. Then some travels, journeys to Brazil for 10 years to another therapist came and started to form and shape all of that. It was a period that I was really studying this Shiatsu art of life, as I like to say, to call this
It's a nice name,
process.
Art of
Because
Life.
for me, art of life, because for me, Shiatsu is a process. It's a procedure that a relationship always is happening when these two people are meeting for first time. And maybe in a non-conscious level, they start before they meet. This meeting has already started. So for me, I am focused more and more in both places, both sides for Shiatsu practice. One is the self-development, and the other one, like a therapist, It's a big word to call therapist myself, but
Mm-hmm.
I am devoted in this path. And the other one is the techniques, the knowledge. But for me, after 20 years that I practice and teach, I am more and more sure every day, more defining my thought and my feelings that nothing can happen if I am not there, me, the Shiatsu practitioner, if I'm not connected. And the more I am connected with my core of my existence, then it is easier for me to go to this path, to follow this healing path.
So you're saying, do I
So
understand correctly that what you're doing, what you represent, is not so much about techniques, what kind of techniques you apply, rather how connected you are to your really inner being, right?
no, it's they have to be in balance. This I
They have to
believe
be
very
imbalanced.
much in
Okay.
the, I believe very much in the knowledge, in the techniques. The only thing that I pay attention a lot is to know why I do this technique,
Ah, okay.
to know the depth of this technique. And knowing the depth of this technique is getting easier if I am connected also.
Okay. Okay, very clear.
Always with,
Mm-hmm.
it is really all together flowing. It's a way, it's a process, all of that.
All right. And can I ask you whether you are attached or you belong to a certain type of Shiatsu style or not really? It's a mixture, or so how can we imagine your work?
Yeah. I started in Greece, the basic studies of Shiatsu, the 3 years, as it is also uh, confirmed by European Shiatsu Federation, because we follow the Hellenic Shiatsu Association was founded in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
In 2002, we became members of European Shiatsu Federation. So our studies in the 3 accredited schools in Greece are under this program, learning program. And I started in a parallel way the traditional Zen Shiatsu,
Mm-hmm.
but because always I was, I believe the multidimensional existence, everybody we are, I wanted to explore all this multidimensional field of the
Mm-hmm.
human body. And
Okay.
in a parallel way, I studied a lot of other traditions like the chakras, the energetic centers, from 4 different teachers according all these years of that I'm studying Shiatsu. And I am very much connected and attached with quantum Shiatsu of Pauline Sasaki,
Colin Sasaki. Mm-hmm.
the teacher, yes, whom I don't met her, but when I found through her students the teachings of her, it was very similar with my spiritual teacher in Greece. I had met her, and she was the first woman that she introduced Shiatsu in 1974. She was a Belgian woman that came because she was in love with the light and the sea of Greece. And
Mm-hmm.
she decided to come to Greece. She was Shiatsu practitioner and acupuncturist. And she was my spiritual teacher. I learned from her to synthesize other styles of a healing process, like crystals and sound, and always I like to synthesize with my Shiatsu practice when it is needed or
Mm-hmm.
when I have. But my basis always is the traditional Zen Shiatsu.
Zen Shiatsu. Okay, very, very interesting how you mentioned the traditional Zen Shiatsu, but also you believe in the
Yeah.
multidimensional map of the human being, right? And okay, so I guess this is something that you want to show us, show the participants in the picnic. Do you know? So what is your workshop going to be about? Can you elaborate
Yes.
on that a little bit, please?
The last years, and especially after COVID, I felt from my clients and observing the societies also, how we become and how the people who are coming to me or to other colleagues, and we share the experience, we see that there is a collective trauma, and this collective trauma has triggered sometimes the personal trauma.
Mm.
And I started to, because I am very influenced the last 10 years from a meta skill is called focusing. And it is like a process, and especially is developed for self-development, but can have very, very good and deep results into trauma healing
Mm-hmm.
method. So I started to explore this with my Shiatsu practice. And because I believe that we are 97%, I leave the 3% free, 97% we are carrying something like trauma,
Mm-hmm.
a severe trauma or a triggering trauma through the generations, whatever. But it is a very crucial point, and for me, trauma is the wisdom of the body because it teaches us, it protects
Mm-hmm.
us, it has so many qualities and has so many adaptations and influences to our everyday life dealing and challenges. So I would like to share something about my trauma approach with Shiatsu practice and some techniques that can give to the practitioner some tools for his clients or her
Mm-hmm.
clients, and one technique for the self-development, because we need both sides. When we go to that exploration, we need courage, we need a safe place, we need to be very well grounded. So I will adapt through this atmosphere to show and to share something that we can work in these kind of cases and feeling safe like therapists, and mostly resilient, preventing ourselves from burnout or from to be in that field that you don't know how to react when
Mm-hmm.
you have a traumatized person.
Wow. Well, Antigoni, I'm sure it's going to be really interesting what you're going to
I
offer, and I
hope
hope that I'm sure that people who are watching this interview are really inspired to be present in your workshop, participate, and grow with whatever you will teach and show the participants. Um, well,
the
I
thi-
hope that yeah.
I want to add something in that we do it. We Shiatsu practitioners work with many different fields of the human existence.
Right.
But we need to acknowledge and to to be more conscious of what we are doing. Sometimes, speaking about trauma, I speak now about
Mm.
trauma because we deal with that every day in our practice. We deal with that, but there are some special points that if we put our focus in that, we can be more effective. We can be more. We can create a better world. Let's say.
And I'm very sure. May I ask you one more question?
Yes.
For example, what happens if you deal with a patient, a client, who has such a deep trauma that something comes to the surface and it's difficult to handle even for himself or herself and even for the therapist. So do you have tools? Are you prepared to handle really difficult, deep cases? So what's your take on that?
First of all, I believe very strongly that when something comes up in the surface, it comes because it feels safe to come.
Okay.
Otherwise, it doesn't come. I trust so much the energy of the field that I don't feel any kind of uncomfortness or uneasiness that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this, of course, has a background of a lot of work from my side.
Internal work.
But,
so as you mentioned. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that moment, because it is this, of course, we always work with the unknown. We don't work with something that we know, especially in trauma cases. Because trauma is not the event that happened to us. Trauma is what we have held inside the body that is related of that event, but it's not the event.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when something is coming in the surface, it is something that is forgotten, is suppressed from us, is hidden, was never communicated. And to come this long way to come on the surface means, first of all, that it feels trust that moment. It feels safe. It's not, even if it is an overwhelming moment. It is something that was inside but felt safe to express itself. So the first point is that I feel trust of I can be connected and have created that field, not that moment only. It is the self-development I do, and the tools I know that I can do something.
So we are really
always,
very much looking. Yes.
Always also it is improvisation also, because that moment is a very special moment. Every moment is a very special, and it's interaction. In another moment, in another place, in another another day of the client would be something different. And for me, it's a sacred place, that moment, and I face it like that.
So at your workshop, participants will have a chance to experience, to know, hear about, and also experience this two important aspects, if I understood you correctly, to understand the depth of a technique, why you use certain techniques, alongside with the constant personal exploration of the therapist himself or herself. And I think you're going to be able to touch upon this sacred moment, sacred space, which happens during the treatment. So Antigoni, thank you so much. We are looking forward to your workshop.
Thank you.
And folks, pencil or pen in your calendar, from the 11th to the 14th of August this year, Uja, near Lake Balaton, beautiful setting, very nice international community, not only from Hungary and Central and Southern Europe, but also, as I know, there are going to be participants from the Western part of Europe as well. So we will have a truly international community family of Shiatsu students, therapists, and teachers. And one of the facilitators will be Antigoni from Greece. And thank you so much, Antigoni, once again for your time. And
thank you too.
See you in August. So thank you very much.
I will finish, Victor, with a phrase that the title is Tradition and Evolution. I would like to finish saying that evolution is the tradition, because this tradition we carry is updated all the time.
Very nice.
The West medicine is reconciling itself, the West medicine.
So you made, with this last phrase, you made it even more interesting for us, I guess, for the participants. So thank you so much, and see you in August.
Thank you too.
Ciao.
See you all.